Of the iMDrive. I have Barbara Benedicta Mills Grace with me in the studio, Sunny 88.7 FM. And she is, let me tell you about her. She holds a degree in law, educational psychology, and a master of philosophy in guidance and counseling. She loves children, and her passion to see children grow as total personalities led her to convene Wrapped Gift series. And Sexual Predators and Child Grooming is the first of the series to be published, and this is the second publication. She's married, she has 3 children, she lives and works in Accra, Ghana. Barbara Benedicta Mills Graves, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the iMDrive. You're our first guest on our Love series for this month.
Thank you, JJD. It's nice to be here.
Great. And Vicky has been going on and on about you, about how we're going to love our time with you this morning. So we're definitely looking forward to a great time. If you just tuned in, you can join us. We're on Facebook and we are also on YouTube. And I was saying earlier, if you are a parent or a parent to be, please get on this conversation. Please share the link, all right, for someone also to pick up some details they may be missing. And we're talking about protecting children from sexual predators. This is a book that Barbara has authored, Sexual Predators and Child Grooming. But first, I want to find out, Barbara, why this book? This would probably be like the first time seeing a Ghanaian author write about something like this. I usually would see a white author who would write on this. Yeah.
That is the main reason why, because we don't talk about it. Yes, so,
okay.
The Wrap Gift series you mentioned earlier, it's a meeting that we're having with parents online.
Okay.
This topic was the third that we discussed. Feedback that I got after the discussion gave me the encouragement to put it down in writing. Afterwards, people spoke, people called and talked. Some parents shared experiences on that day, and we thought, let's just put it together and then talk about it, because we don't talk about it much. It's like a taboo.
It is. But how do you feel about the feedback you received? Were you overwhelmed? Were you not surprised? What was the feeling when the feedback came from the session you had?
Initially, I was surprised, because most of those who spoke don't look it. You know, people don't carry their wounds on their faces, so they don't look it. And the perpetrators don't look at people who do it. And then you wonder why they didn't talk all these years. And so I thought, let me just do a little bit of research, let me speak to more people and put this together. And then let's get the conversations going, because it's something that is happening every day.
And so far, since you started it, how is it being received? Like you said, this is more like a topic we pretend doesn't happen. We don't pay attention to it.
Mostly it's like, how are you able to do this? How we don't talk about these things around. You are doing so well. Talk about it. Nobody really wants to say anything about it. So please, if you can talk about it.
Let's do this. So tell us, when we say someone is a sexual predator, who is that? Can you describe that person? Who is a sexual predator?
A sexual predator is anyone. Anybody can be, because they don't carry that card. They don't have a mask that calls them sexual predators. So parents, teachers, pastors, coaches, siblings, grandparents, everybody is a potential predator. Everyone. And we have the strangers as well.
The strangers as well. Now, I want to draw from the conversation you had with the parents you had online. What are some of the things they started telling you when you probably may have said, okay, this and that person could be a predator? What are some of the descriptions they gave you about some of the people they said, okay, I think this person is possibly getting onto my son or daughter?
It was mainly, how could it have happened to me? These are people I knew. I don't believe that they could do. They don't look like people who would be predators. Okay, these are people I trusted. For people who come in to help, like house helps, doing this to children, you wonder. It's a child. What can you get possibly from a child? And then some of the parents are like, well, we went through it, but we were quiet. So when our children told us what they were going through, we didn't know how to help. So we watched on.
So Barbara, as a parent, what are some of the things I should look out for to help me figure out if someone is a sexual predator that I have around my son or daughter? Are there some things I can look out for?
Yes, I think for starters, let's look at the characteristics, how they behave.
Let's do that.
Yes, the predator loves to be around children. Okay, the focus, the motive is to get the child to trust him or her, and then isolate the child. And then the goal is to get the child abused sexually and criminally in the other way. But so he's tactical. He tries to befriend the child. The predator will identify a need in the child's life, It could be emotional needs. Sometimes parents, we focus more on the food, the clothes, the iPads, the school. We forget that we are dealing with people who have needs, emotional needs. This predator will identify that need and speak the child's emotional or love language. Okay, and once the child identifies with this person, the trust is built. And then gradually, the predator will isolate the child and then sexualize the relationship and then use threats to silence the child. And so it can go on for years. So as parents, what can we do to protect our children? I'd say that first, be friends with your child. Know your child. Know your children. Get interested in what they do. If you really know your children, when they change, you would notice.
You know.
If you have open conversations with them, they would walk to you and talk to you.
Okay.
If you don't scare them when they tell you when they've messed up, they will come to you when they have questions or when they mess up. I mean,
Okay.
I always say that your child should be able to say, I must tell my mother this, or I must tell my father this. Not, oh God, I'm dead, when they get to know. As soon as they go like, I'm dead, when they get to know, they tend to trust somebody else.
Oh.
As parents, let's discourage secrets. You know, there are good secrets where you want to surprise, like today's Valentine's Day, you want to surprise your husband, you want to surprise daddy. Let's not tell him this is a good secret. But where there's a secret that makes you feel uncomfortable, somebody, I mean, going beyond your boundaries and saying that keep it a secret, you don't encourage it. So talk to your children about these ones. And as they grow up, let's mention the body parts and what they are meant
As
for.
they are.
Let's mention as they are and what they are used for. You know, we usually use very, very nice,
Funny names, yeah.
very
Cookies
sanitized,
yeah.
to describe what they are. But believe you, some people don't know what is happening to them, even when they've been abused. They don't have the words, they don't have the right vocabulary to describe it,
yes,
because we never really said it. We call it bomb. And
We imagine you walk up to your teacher and say, my uncle touched my cookie, and it would take a certain thinking of a teacher to figure out what you're saying.
Exactly.
It could just be your baked cookie.
Yes.
And
Yes, so let's mention it as it is. Let's teach our children consent and boundaries. And as we are raising them up, typically in Ghana, we raise our children to be palleable.
when you say palleable, what do you
What
mean?
I mean is flexible. They should be bending. It's yes. Don't question authority. Don't ask questions. And then when they hit their teens and going to late teens, we want them to be responsible and take decisions. No, they don't know how to do it. They have never learned how to do it because we taught them not to question. So they are not able to say no. The predator could be the father or a grandfather or the auntie, but because she's been taught to respect adults and not talk back and not ask questions, you know, she's quiet.
We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can join in the conversation. If you have a question for Barbara, feel free to drop the question below. You can even send it via WhatsApp. Maybe it is a voice note. Please feel free to send it as well. I want to ask Barbara, you kept on using he. Are there female sexual predators as well?
Oh,
or it's just
yes.
okay.
Yes, there are female groomers as well. So they will groom the child for themselves. Today we talk about LGBTQ+. They groom the children for themselves or they groom them for their male partners. So yes, there are. There are house helps who teach boys 8 years, 9 years, 10 years how to have sex with them. And so these boys are in JSS and they are in mother kind of relationship. They have girlfriends who are like their parents.
Just reminded me of a conversation I had with a young man a few years ago, and he told me about his mom's friend who was touching him in places where she had no business touching. And to date, I see the effect it's had on him. And we're going to talk about that, the effect it has on the children. But let's talk about how children could be lured. What are some of the things that predators use to lure children into their camp? Okay,
so they, like I said before, they study the child. So they could decide that whatever you are interested in, I'm interested into. Today, they want games, or they want to, they are into movies, whatever things that the child is interested in, they do. If the child is a lover of pets, he pretends that he also loves pets. If the child, or sometimes they use a name tag, you know, they try to call you by your name, and so it's almost like you're familiar with this person. If the person can call you, if you see me as you call me Barbara Mills, I'm like, only somebody who knows me will call me Barbara Mills, or you just say Barbara. So I think I know you, and then you can continue. They use affection, and they are where, you know, if the child, let's say, love language is affection, showing affection, caring, physical touch, and he or she's not getting it at home. And this predator studies the child and realizes that this is what the child wants. This is the language the child understands. Then, of course, when he comes around the child or she comes around the child, she'll be all affectionate. She'll put her hands around her. She'll come and sit beside me. I like your hair. I like this. I like that. So, all this is to build trust, for the child to trust you. And then affectionate, they can use the pets, they can show interest. And sometimes the fact that they are friends with your parents, they are always around your home. So you tend to think that, oh, this is a person that I should be comfortable with. Mommy and daddy know them. They will not do anything.
Uncle this, auntie that.
They will not do anything to me, untoward to me.
You're listening to the iMDrive. This is Sunny 88.7 FM. And I want to ask you, from the research you've done so far, who are the most likely victims of sexual predators? Is it young boys or young girls? Who are the ones who are high on the list?
Initially, it was more girls. But I think the reason was before boys were not reporting.
Wow.
Because now more people, more boys are coming up. It's almost the same. It's almost the same. And how do we even talk about it when my little girl read the book and said, I've said a boy was raped? How is that possible?
Yeah.
Boys cannot be, boys cannot be raped. And I said, why? I said, but rape is just girls. But I said, yes. Said that one is sodomite. I said, yes, it's still rape. It wasn't his choice.
Yeah.
So boys are raped too. Now we can say it's almost the same. There are lots of adults walking out there with a lot of pain and hurt. A lot of males walking out there, men walking out there with pain and hurt because they were abused when they were younger.
And I see in chapter 7 of your book, you talk about stages in child grooming. What is child grooming exactly? And then let's take us through the stages.
Okay, so the grooming is where you prepare. Grooming is like when you prepare somebody. When we were growing up, we learned about good grooming. You wake up in the morning, you lay your bed, you go to the bathroom, brush your teeth. When the predator is grooming the child, it's gradually preparing the child, making the child feel comfortable with you, saying words the child would love to hear, doing acts the child would love to do with you, all in the bid to get the child comfortable with you and then abuse that child. Grooming and showing affection or care, it's almost the same. It's a very thin line. So if you are not careful, you will miss it.
Help us not miss it. I'm glad you're here this morning. How do we not miss it? Help us draw the line.
So how does this person behave if you're a mother or a father, a caregiver? How does this person behave around my child? Or when this person is around my child or my son, my daughter, how does my child or my son behave around him or her? Sometimes we miss the clues. Look into your child's eye. How is she behaving when she has to sit by uncle or come close to auntie? You can pick it. These are red flags.
So help us. So what are some of the signs he or she may exhibit around this person?
Oh, either she may look away.
Okay.
She obviously wouldn't want to be touched. She wouldn't want to come close to where this person is. This is where the person is familiar with the home, in the home environment. So if you want to go visit this cousin or you want to go to this house or that house, she doesn't want to be part of the people. Okay. Or whenever she sees, if it's a father figure, she gets scared. Okay, and what do? We only shout at them. Why are you screaming? Why are you afraid and all that? So like they get scared. Or if the child is already being groomed and then they are using bribery or gifts, or you see your child having things that you haven't given to the child, and the child is not able to tell you clearly where he or she got those things from, starts keeping to herself. She starts preferring to be referred to in a particular manner, particular name. Her dressing changes. If the predator or the groomer is giving positive affirmations and praising the way she looks and all that, she would want to keep up. If she's not hearing it from you, she wants to please this person, thinking that this is somebody who genuinely cares about me. Okay, she becomes very protective of her phone or her online activities, and she becomes more secretive. She keeps to herself. If it's a younger child, 12 years below, these would go back to behaviors that they've already grown past. Let's say the child starts bedwetting again because he or she is afraid. He or she has gone past bedwetting, but suddenly he starts bedwetting. Emotionally, she's having anxiety, she's having panic attacks, she's not sleeping well, having nightmares. Just cannot explain.
Okay.
These are red flags. I'm not saying that when you see this all the time, that's what it means, but you want to probe further.
Okay.
And one thing that we should not ignore is our intuition. If it smells rat, there's rat.
Okay.
So
Check
if
it out.
you feel that this person's character is questionable, please pause and then check it out. If your child goes out there and comes home, whether it's church, whether it's school, camp, wherever they go to when they come back, ask them their experience. How did they go? Who did you sit by? What are some things that happened there? Anything you want to share with me? Not like question and answer, quiz kind of thing, but create a conversation and let your children talk to you. And whilst they talk, listen. Don't listen to talk back, but listen. Let it be a conversation. They tell us things when they know that they are ahead, when they know we respect what they see, when they know they matter to us. They will share with us.
And this grooming can happen online as well?
It does. If our parents are groomed, communities are groomed, families are groomed.
So I could be a parent being groomed and not know it?
And not know.
How?
Oh, because the groomer is Mr. Nice Guy or Miss Nice Person. So he or she comes around often, especially where, today we are running around all the time. I need someone to care for my child at home. I have to run somewhere.
Yeah.
He or she is available to help. Okay, but when they come around, they are studying you. He says, I want to. Okay, there's a story I heard about one person shared with me about somebody who came to help them at home. There's a young boy who used to come to their house to help them when the children came back from school and there was no one at home. He just came to be around till mommy comes home. Now this boy often came around. A neighbor, a very young, I think 13, 14, comes around and so nice to the family. Then suddenly this little girl, whenever the boy came around, wanted to run to her room. All the time she was running to her room, every time running. And so they got concerned. It's always been nice to, let me just say he's called Jack.
Okay.
Why is it whenever Jack comes around, he's the one who sweeps here, helps us in the kitchen, but when he comes around, and the girl will not talk. And so one day they asked her, I think when mommy was bathing here, she realized that she didn't want to be washed down there. So she asked, what's the problem? Tell me, what is the issue? Nothing will happen, talk to me. And apparently, whenever the boy came back from school, he actually slept with the little girl. Okay, so the parents now, or the family, the groom, they thought this is somebody who was genuinely helping. And the girl wouldn't say it because mommy loves Jack. Mommy sees Jack as a very good person. And so I may not be believed.
Which is not mommy's fault because she's only seen the good side, right, of Jack. I have a question. It says, do predators know they are predators or is something that just happens?
The ones who are, they do. It doesn't just happen. They are calculating. If a snake wants to catch a rat or the eagle wants to catch any animal, it's not just sudden. You take your time. The predator really takes his or her time. In fact, they are very, very patient. It can take months just to get to you because he wants to win your trust. It's not rushed. So yes, they know they are predators. They know it very well.
You're listening to the iMDrive, Sunny 88.7 FM. In a bit, we'll get to our phone lines. You can join us. We are on Facebook, also on YouTube. If you have a question for Barbara, you can send it via WhatsApp. If it's a voice, no, feel free. 0540-130-684. That is 0540-130-684. Barbara, I wanted to ask you, why is it so hard for someone who's been abused tell somebody about it? Why is it so difficult to tell someone that this is what is happening? What accounts for that?
Yes. First, it could be the person who abused her. Imagine I can't tell you, JJD, my father abused me. I cannot say that to you. I can't. He's the one who takes care of me at home. He's the one who puts food on the table. I cannot say it. So that's the first one. So they feel they will not be believed even when they say it. And that is one very common response they gave me. Nobody would believe you when they blame you. That's the first thing. They blame you for, so what did you do? It was your fault. Or why are you now saying it? When it happened, let's say once, twice, 3 times, you lied it. That's another thing. Sometimes they are afraid of the abuser because the abuser might say, if you tell, I will hurt this so and so person, or I give you this, I pay your fees, I buy, someone shared with me that some of our friends in the north need people to help them buy sanitary pads, and because they don't have it. So if you do something to her, she will not get what she will use next month, so she will not tell. That's another thing. Sometimes it's what I call the golden child syndrome. The person who has done that is the child everybody loves at home, the one everybody praises. And then let's say I'm the maid servant in the house and the master of the house's son or daughter has his or her way with me. I will not be believed if I go and say it, so I will not say it. Some think that it's the norm, especially when it's happening to the person in the person's own home. They say things that this is what all fathers do. This is what all mothers do. In fact, there's a mother who has been sleeping with her son since he was 14
in
years
this country.
Old. Yes, the boy is in the
Barbara,
university
in Ghana.
In Ghana.
No way.
Oh, it's
no
happening
way.
in Ghana. JJD is happening.
No way.
Yes, it's happening. So it's not just men. grooming.
She's fine. She's okay with it.
She's okay. And now the boy has become, should I say, addicted to it.
Oh,
yes. She's okay. So these things are happening. We don't talk about it. It's happening in the church.
Forgive me for probing too much. Is she married, or she's a single mother who?
The man died. The husband died.
Oh my word.
So yes, it's happening. It does.
Tell us about the impact it has on children.
Oh, starters, they start feeling guilty. They feel ashamed. They think it's their fault. Some of them, it makes them have split personality, because then, if I have to endure this, for boys who want to go to the camp, the academy football camps, their coaches are doing it to them. I mean, for you to be, your name to come up to join under 12, under 14 to play, you need to pay with something. When these boys are going through such trauma, sometimes they want to say, it's not me, it's this other person. And so he or she would remove him or herself from the other person being abused. And so you have people who have dual personality. She is a very nice person, he's a very pleasant person, but there's this other aspect of him.
In fact, I watched an episode of Oprah. This woman who was abused by, I think, her father, she has over 30 personalities.
Yes.
That she says that's how she's dealt with the trauma.
That's how they deal with it. That's how they deal with it. And then they start having self-harming behavior. So I always say that when you understand the reason why people do the things they do, you will have pity.
And
you will not condemn them so much, because the things that they do, sometimes just to draw society's attention that I'm suffering, I'm screaming. So my scream is coming from me harming myself. Sometimes they cut themselves. Sometimes they even decide that then if somebody will take it from me, then I'll give it out willingly. So they decide to lose lives, because this time I am giving it out. No one is forcing me.
I have some messages here. This one says, wow, mom sleeping with her own son, so sad. This one says, it is important to install cameras in the house, and parents must watch the cameras and spend time to play back at the end of the day to see what happened whilst they were away. What do you feel about the installation of cameras in the home as part of the measures?
I agree.
To protect your child?
Not just sexual abuse, but it could be any form of it. Yes, I agree. If we can, I agree.
This is Sunny 88.7 FM. We are with Barbara Benedicta Mills-Graves. She's author of the book Sexual Predators and Child Grooming. She's actually our first guest for the Love series. And I know around this time of the month, some people are just possibly planning to pray on possibly someone's son or someone's daughter. And it's a good time for us to be armed with information we need. If you're a parent to be, or maybe you're a ward for a young man or woman, you just want to take a listen to this and also share the link with someone. As I was speaking to Vicky about your book, and we're talking about some of the conversations she's already had with you, I remember I was in University of Ghana. I was walking, I think I was around Pent, and I had just crossed. I was going to the statistics department, and I found myself just stop. I just stopped. As I all of a sudden there was a flashback of a memory. I was in my 20s, I think, yeah, maybe 21, 20. All of a sudden there's a flashback of a memory. I think I blocked out, but then it just came back. And the memory was more like, Jennifer, you were almost abused when we were a younger child. And when I was younger, we would visit, we would go to uncle this, auntie that. And I remember, and I was telling someone, was this auntie's husband who French kissed me when I was young. My parents never knew this. Both my parents are dead. I never told them. I'm saying this on the radio for the first time today. And I was so young, I don't think I knew it was wrong. My parents did not know. I remember I'd go visit my auntie, and it was a compound house. And the people would come watch TV in that one room. And there was a man there who started touching me. So I started trying not to be around him. I could not tell my auntie. So I remember she told my mom, I don't want your girl in my house anymore. She doesn't smile when people come. So I'm putting myself in the shoes of any young girl who's going through this, and the feeling that comes with it. You can't speak about it. Somebody feels okay, we are collaborating, so you don't want to smile, but there's something that is going wrong. And I'm glad we're talking about this so parents can look out for some of these things, that just in case it could be happening. But let's talk about how we can protect our children. First, I want to know, how can I speak to my son or to my daughter about boundaries with people who come into our home, whether it is uncle this, brother this, sister this, auntie that?
I think that teaching boundaries starts. We can model it. Okay, so since you've taught your son or your daughter that your body belongs to you, you as a parent, I think that you can ask, Essie, can I give you a hug? That's consent.
Okay.
She says, yes, mommy, you can. Can I let you? Yes, you can. And let's not force affection. Oh, go and give auntie a hug. Go and sit by uncle. Why are you not smiling with this person? These are things that when we do break their defenses. They tend to think that it's normal. It's just normal. And having the conversation, your body belongs to you. There are public and private areas. Even the public area, the person touching you must have your consent before touching you. Yes, and learn to say no.
Okay.
I mean, and you respect other people when they say no. Learn to say no. As you are talking to them, please model it, because it's one thing telling them what they should or should not do, and you doing something else. Yes, you doing something else. The greatest lessons or the greatest teachers are those who really model what they want their children or their followers to learn. And then let's talk about it. So we can start discussing. There's something called grooming, not just the one that we do at home.
By which age can I start talking to my children about this?
When they start talking.
Oh, sir.
Yes.
Wow.
This one that you want to call Bom Bom or your buttocks, it is mine.
Okay.
It is only mine. Nobody touches it. It is for me. And this is what it is used for.
Okay.
From that age.
Okay.
This is what it is used for. This is what this part is used for. Let them know what the various body parts are used for. Why didn't you tell your parents when your uncle kissed you?
I don't even remember.
You don't remember?
I was 4 or 5 years. I don't remember.
You don't remember. But if the conversations were going on, I'm sure it would have come up.
Oh, I'm sure if we had those conversations.
They go for sleepovers and they come back. Oh, have an open discussion. What really went on there? How did it go? I mean, if you are comfortable to allow your children to go for sleepover, fine. But when they come back, have the conversation, discuss it. Let nothing be a taboo.
Okay.
Let them be comfortable coming to you to tell you things that are happening in their lives.
And there's a chapter of your book I like, because when I go online, I've seen stories about how in our religious institutions, it seems like this is thriving there. Let's talk about when the Guma Predator is a religious institution, what's happening. We're a Christian institution. Let's talk about the church. What's happening in the church, and let's talk about that. If you've dealt with any situations like that.
Yes, it's happening in the church, and we don't talk about it. Touch not my anointed. We don't want to say anything that would kind of come as a distaste in the sight of any religious leader. It's happening there. In our Sunday schools, it's happening there. So you go to church and you leave your children to go to Sunday school, especially when it's that remote, and you're not sure if your child is sitting in there or has walked out. The child can just go to a washroom. Someone follows the child there, and anything at all is happening, whether Sunday school or the youth. It's happening. The youth leaders, the musical, the choir leaders, the instrumentalists. You know, I was saying that if we were to open the Me Too movement in Ghana, you will see the people who come out and talk about it. And when is the pastor, or when is the youth leader, or the deacon, we are so afraid. And abusing the child doesn't necessarily have to be by a penile penetration. Sometimes they are forced to use their mouth.
I think we will finish and then we'll pick up the story.
They are forced to use their mouth. Sometimes they are forced to send pictures, nude pictures. All these are abuse. And once the pictures go, the next thing is that if you don't give me more explicit ones, I'm going to show this one to your parents. And then fear and threats keeps them bound. And it goes on, and then they are abused. And because these children see the pastors and the church leaders as God's representatives, it damages their concept of who God is. And people are angry with God. Why would He allow this to happen to me? There's a whole generation of some people in some country I won't mention that do not want to hear anything about God because the church abused the children.
Barbara, can you say if churches have, I don't know what I should say, kind of modulars, a way to deal with some of these things when they come up, or they have become an as and when? Like a policy or a way to handle these situations when they come up. Like a parent comes to you and says, I found out so and so pastor this has abused my son. How you think the churches are dealing with it? Let me receive this call. Hello? Hello, Robert? Okay, let me put this on.
officer, oh, you don't want this to go out. We're sorry. It's fine, please. If this goes out, think about the church, the image of the church. Let's not talk about this. So far, that's how you've been handling it. Nobody really.
How should it be handled? I mean, for any church leader who's listening and saying, I really want to learn how to handle a situation like this if it does happen in my church. What's the ideal situation, the ideal way for leaders of ministries or churches to handle situations like this when they come up?
I think for starters, then you are not with the leader, so you need to, as a Pentecostal, so they take your role from you, and then you sit down to really reflect on your act, to get your acts together to be able to move forward. For starters, you need to be taking up that role. You cannot keep having that role because then, because of the how we see you, you can go on and on and on. So they need first, they have to take that role from you. If the abuse has not yet happened, that's fine. Still, they take it and then you go and then learn again. But I think if the abuse has happened, then we can take it further. Take it to the authorities. Yes, it should. It should.
Barbara, can you share with us a few more ways we can protect our children? If there are any others you haven't touched on this morning? Yes, if you can do that for us. You're live on Sunny 88.7 FM on Facebook. You can also join us on YouTube this morning as we speak to Barbara Benedicta Mills Grace. Go ahead, Barbara.
I think that as parents, apart from everything, we should be there for our children as well, physically and emotionally. There are parents who are absent. We provide everything, but we are not there. There are those who never show up for any of their children's programs. You know, the groomer studies the child. So let's say the child is athletic, the child loves reading, something, any special day of the child, you are not there. PTA, you are not there. Always busy chasing money. All the time you are
Let me see
chasing
if I can pick up this call. Guys, Douglas, can you help me figure out if I'm doing anything wrong in picking this call? Hello, Robert.
Hello, peace be unto you.
Peace be unto you, Robert. How are you doing this morning?
Yes, yes. It's a very blessed Wednesday.
Okay, blessed Wednesday. Please go ahead.
Yes, I think the second option.
Okay, sure. I get you.
Yes, yes. Now my only contribution this morning is that society has failed us emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So I protect that you are to really the Christian and your son. So that you can be seated along the relational group unity. So that you can use this as a child
you know, grooming happens in person and online, you mentioned earlier. So online to as parents, let's also be a bit tech savvy. We should know a little bit about what's happening in the virtual world. We should have discussions with our children. They may think that we are crying when we want to see their phones and see what they're doing online, but talk to them that things that you give to people, information you give to people. I remember during COVID, my son, this online classes they were having, he was playing it's a Minecraft. There was this game that they play on. There was a time that when the class ended, just when he moved from the desktop, I went to sit there. I'm not sure what I clicked, but when I touched the mouse, something just popped up, and it was people making love. So I was like, how is this possible? Because they were just having a class. I got really very alarmed, and I was sharing with the
I'm so sorry, I have another call. Don't forget, Prince platform, yeah? Okay, I have a caller right here. Good morning.
Good morning, Jenny.
All right. Do you have a question or contribution, please?
Jenny, I don't have a question. I want to contribute.
Sure, please go ahead.
You see, what she's saying is happening because when you interact with a lot of people, there are a lot of things happening. However, with me, my challenge is where we, as Christians, we cover it and say, God will deal with him. Can we leave him? Sometimes we are even stopping. If it's a criminal, if the person has raped somebody, we need to report it to the police station. we don't. And sometimes we even doubt our own children. It's like you every day are telling lies, and we only take the child to the predator and ask, did you do this? Say what you said you did. And we make those mistakes. What I would want to also add to what she's saying is that as Christians, when it starts that, hey, we have to prosecute the whole system, allow the system to prosecute that person. They have to be punished for their actions. That aside, we should start to protect our children. When they say something, we don't carry them to the predators and say, tell me what you told me, please here, and then them and other things. We should get to the person, fight the person, let our children know we trust them. That would also encourage them to speak up when the next thing happens, or speak out about any other thing else. So we can't share, and we hope to support her in our little ways all the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. And I mean, what she's saying is true. I've realized when you read the stories of how abuse has thrived in churches, it's because somebody was not called out. So somebody didn't know somebody was being abused. So a mother and father did not have the choice to say, stay away from this man, because they did not know that their friend's son has been abused. And so you wake up after 2 or 3 years and find about 50, 20 children have been abused in one church. Same story, because someone did not call somebody out. Right, I have another caller on the line. Hello?
Yes, good morning. And yeah, good morning to all wonderful listeners.
Yes.
So I want to add another side to this conversation, which will be that as we are focusing on protecting the children, can we also, as society and especially the church, start looking at how to stop the widespread of these predators? How do I mean? Because we are having more and more predators in the system, and the more predators we have in the system, the more our children are being attacked. So it's good for us to be defensive. We want to protect our children, but can we also go offensively to now start going after these ones who are now predators to find out what information their lifestyle? For example, why will a mother want to have those people that have son? What is responsible for that kind of lifestyle? So I'm just saying this to say that probably our future can even, if God gives us that go ahead, to start looking at writing another book where, we interview some of these predators, find out how did they get into this, how can we save them, how can we stop more people from getting into this. And for instance, most of these predators were abused at certain points in their own lives, So I'm just adding that as we look at protecting our children, can we also go on the offensive, go after the predators, go after the spirit or whatever it is that is, responsible for making this predators. All these things are wonderful by God. But there's something always good and then we just where we ourselves like this. But thank you very much for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you very much. Indeed, it's interesting how you mentioned where sometimes those are sexual predators that people also preyed on when they were much younger. So you saw the video, the picture of the
Yes. I really got alarmed, so I shared it on a parents club. I was asking how, because we just ended one lesson, and then there was this man who asked me what game my son was playing, and I said, either Minecraft or something. He said, look, most of these people put, I don't know how they do it, but they put it as part of the game, and they know when it's a child behind the laptop playing. There are some things that when you are an adult do, then you will not see, but when the boy is there, when the child is there, they will show to the child. I really got alarmed, and I had a conversation with my son. I said, look, nothing came up. It was just a game he was playing. I've never seen it before. So okay, so you cannot be watching these things. There are things that there are doors that when you're not ready to see what's inside, when it's open, and these things enter, it's difficult to block them. So don't read certain books. Don't go to certain sites when you're not ready to block. So it will help you. Based on what he says, I want to read a portion of this book. It says, when a person like me, this is an interview that was had with a sexual predator. Obviously, it says, when a person like me wants a child, you just don't go up, get the child, and sexually molest the child. There's a process of obtaining the child's friendship. It always starts by gaining trust. When you get their trust, that is when the child becomes vulnerable, then you can molest the child. As far as children go, they are easy. You befriend them, you take them places, you buy them gifts. Now, in grooming the child, you win his trust. I mean, the child has this look. According to Predator, it's hard to explain. You just know that the child is ready by the look. You know when you can have that child. You know when the kid can trust you. Sexual predators follow this corridor of control, often displaying dual personalities in the process.
I'll take my final call and wrap up this conversation. Maybe we'll continue at another time. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam. You have a question or contribution?
I think I'll contribute a little. I think this thing has happened way back, in the 70s and 10s, and that our parents were naive. I am now over 60 years, but when I was in class 2, there was this team who came from one of our neighboring countries. I don't want to mention. They come and, mend your cocoa farm and things like that. So, a team came. The team that came, there was this very fair colored man, and they were talking to my father. So because of his color, I was staring at him as a child. So I don't know. My father when they finished conversation, my father went inside and was going to bring them money, for them to take a car back or something. Then the guy held my hand. He said, "Meno Bayawati." And as a child, I didn't understand what it was. And ever since he said that, I had a strong hatred for him. So whenever they came to the house and he was part of it, I would run into the room. But I never told my father. And luckily, he never had anything with me. They just came from the village to visit. They brought food and things like that. So this thing has existed way back, but our parents were not aware. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me just get to some messages I have coming through. I'll wrap up with the calls. This one says, we started by teaching our children early, at like 3 years old or so, that anybody part that is covered by clothing is not supposed to be touched by others. If God wanted those parts to be touched, we would have let us expose them. We told them the parts. We could be in public and our 4-year-old would come and say if she has an itch in her vagina, needed washing or something. It says once we went to visit a family and they noticed how freely our children spoke about these things and decided to teach her children same. Then it came out that the male help was touching their daughter. Thankfully, it was halted before it had gone too far. They went through counseling and are now okay. KB says, since their kids are not even aware of their sexuality or even know the value of it, okay, maybe I should read it from the top. So can we say those pushing for kids to be exposed to LGBT are abusing their kids, so their kids are not even aware of their sexuality or even know the value of it? All right, I think I'll let you land where you would finish. I'll let you finish on what you're saying about protecting the children. We're talking about how we can further protect the children. Are you done, or do you have a few more points to share?
I think I'm done.
Sure. Do you get his question?
He's
Not
asking.
quite.
Yes, not quite.
Okay. KB, can you rephrase your question? But anyway, we're running out of
He's
time.
wondering if teaching children their sexuality has anything to do with LGBTQ.
Let me take it from the top. So can we say those pushing for kids to be exposed to LGBT are abusing the kids, since the kids are not even aware of their sexuality or even know the value of it?
Be careful in defining sexuality,
Yeah.
because when a child comes and is a boy, he knows it's a boy. He's a girl, he knows it's a girl. All we're saying is let them know the body parts and what it's used for. That's what we want. We want to teach our children. And of course, the world is becoming global now, so they know that these are the things that other people are doing, which is not right. As Christians, we don't encourage these things. So let them know that it's not right. But this is what the body part is used for. This is what this is used for at this time. At this time, you use your penis to wee, your vagina to wee. When you go and you marry, yes, you can make love with your husband or your wife, but till then, nobody should do that. These are the conversations.
Barbara, for anyone listening saying, I really need to go into the details of this book, where can we get copies of the book?
Okay, so when they come to Sunny and speak to Review Multimedia, they would get their number for them is 0552 535 036. 0552 535 036. You can also get online on booknook, yes. And then you can also call Princess on 0243 45 8391 or 020 910 9060. Or you can call my number
Sure.
020 300 3338.
I think there's a book for every parent
This
to
is
have.
a poem I want to read.
Sure.
For everybody out there who has been abused in any one way or the other. A very short one. It says, you are not broken. You are not broken, beautiful child. Nothing about you is wrong. Other people have had their mistakes on you. but you survive. You are whole. You will heal. You will be all you wanted to be. You will no longer remain a victim of those years. Your body is yours. You can fill it with joy. Your thoughts are in your control. Your feelings are free as the chiming bells. You are loved. You are lovable. Beautiful child. You always were. You are forgiven. You are not broken. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara. It's been so insightful speaking to you this morning. I see another call coming through, but unfortunately, I'm unable to answer your call. If you'd love to speak to Barbara, you can call her directly, maybe have a conversation with her. But I'm sure we may have to have another time on the iMDrive. Thank you so much for coming, Barbara.
Thank you, Vicky.